Walk me through the citation, man.
Before departures,
Okay.
when you line up,
Okay.
ready for departures, parking brakes released. You move the throttle all the way to the takeoff detent. It has takeoff detent,
So I go to the takeoff detent.
takeoff detent. And you have the climb detent. I want to list the three of you.
Yeah, yeah.
You can write it.
Yeah, man. Okay. Takeoff, climb.
Climb detent.
Okay.
And the cruise.
Okay.
All will be annunciated on the PFD.
Okay. These are thrust settings.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Always annunciated.
Yeah. Okay.
So at 400 feet, you select heading or nav or whatever
At 400 feet, you select heading.
heading.
Okay.
At 1,000 feet, flight level change and bring back the thrust to climb detent to avert the 5 minutes force on the thrust, which is the same with the 737. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know you have a 5 minute max thrust setting as a limit.
Mm-hmm.
Is a limitation.
Mm-hmm.
So you now return to the climb detent and
Okay.
continue your climb.
Okay. So the 737 profile is no different.
It's the same.
Same profile.
The only difference is here the aircraft selects the climb speed and whatever for you.
The
The
thrust.
737, you have to select 210.
Yes. So let's look at it, right? Here I am now. Here you are, okay?
Yeah.
You're on the runway and you're about to take off.
Yes.
And so the first thing we do, we advance the thrust levers to 40%,
Correct.
stable, and we select
Toga.
toga. Now, toga, when you push it, what kind of thrust did I get?
Takeoff.
Takeoff thrust.
Takeoff. Takeoff.
Okay, so in the citation, you went to the takeoff detent
Correct.
to get takeoff thrust.
Correct.
In the 737, I push toga to get takeoff thrust. It's the same thing.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a detent or a button. What's important to you is give me takeoff thrust.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. So we rotate off. V1, rotate, positive brake, gear up. You said at 400 feet, what do you guys select?
Select heading or the lateral mode.
Okay. What do you think we do in the 7.3? 400
The
feet?
same.
Same thing, right?
400 heading select
Yeah,
or
man.
lateral mode.
L never heading select.
Correct.
Yes, the same thing. Nothing's changed. Okay. Let's get to 1,000 feet.
Flight level change.
Okay. Now.
Or VNAV.
Now. Hang on a second. What did you say you do in the citation at 1,000 feet?
Flight level change.
At 1,000 feet.
Yes.
Okay. And do you do anything with the thrust levers?
Yes.
Okay. Or do you leave them alone where they are?
At 1,000 feet?
Yeah.
No.
Do you have to reduce?
Yeah, you have to reduce because you don't cross 200 knots with your flaps at 15.
Yeah. But what do you do for the thrust? You probably
You leave it there.
and you push flight level change?
Flight level change, yes.
Okay. When you push flight level change,
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee
Yeah.
your thrust reduces.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. You know why? Because level change works the same in the citation.
Correct.
Works the same in the 7.3.
Correct.
Works the same in an A320.
Correct.
Okay, let me tell you how it works. When you select level change, it gives me climb thrust, right? If I'm climbing.
Yes.
And if you're descending and you push level change, what happens? What if you put set a descent and you push level change?
It will descend and the speed will run out.
Okay, and what happens to your, well, you don't have auto throttle,
We
of
don't
course,
have, you have to reduce it.
but you have to reduce it.
Yes.
So if you did have auto throttle, what would it do?
It will come back.
It would reduce it.
Correct. And hold that speed.
Okay. So the beauty of the 7.3 is it has an auto throttle and it'll reduce it for you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, sir. So now at 1,000 feet, right?
Flight level change.
In a citation, you push flight level change.
Yes.
Really, what you're trying to do is you're not trying to push flight level change. You're trying to get climb thrust.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So now let's go to the 737. At 1,000 feet, what do we usually say? N1,
210.
and then we accelerate the speed to 10.
Yes.
Okay. What is N1 really doing? When you push N1, what is it doing?
Goes to the climb thrust.
It gives me climb thrust.
Reads from the MCP.
Yeah. You're
from the flight
so I guess what I'm getting at is you're pushing, just to relate it across what you're used to, you're not doing anything different. You're just pushing a different button or saying something different, but the profile is the same profile. Right? So I want you to understand that, because I think you're going to better relate it to what you're doing here. So at 1,000 feet, N1 really means give me climb thrust. Level change in your world really means here. So just think of, okay, at 1,000 feet, I'm pushing N1, I'm calling, you're not really going to push it, you're going to call for it, right? But you're calling for it because what you're really saying is, hey, pilot monitoring, give me climb thrust. It's that simple.
Correct.
So the thrust levers come back because you have an auto throttle, and you roll the speed up, right? Now you roll the speed up to 210.
Yes.
Okay? Now why do you roll the speed up to 210? Because now we're going to begin accelerating, right? Because when we took off, what speed did we have set?
It's from V2.
We had V2.
V1, VR, then V2.
And in the MCP specifically, you had V2, which is usually like 142.
Yeah.
140 something, right?
Yes. Do you know when you get to V2 and when you get to 1,000 feet and you press flight level change, whatever speed is there will capture.
Yeah. You're talking about the citation?
Yes.
Guess
It will capture.
Yeah.
You have to now dial up.
What do you dial it up to? Something faster than what you're at.
You dial it up to anything you want, but make sure the flaps are up before 200 knots.
Yeah. So you're probably, I'm just thinking out loud, but I'm guessing you're probably going to set it to something at least 200 plus knots.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you can retract the flaps.
Correct.
So what are we doing here? We're setting 210.
Accelerator.
It's no different, man. It's
Correct.
the same thing.
Correct.
Right? It's the same
Yes.
thing. So look, so you get to 1,000. When you set N1, we got climb thrust. When you accelerate to 210, the flight director goes down, so that we can begin accelerating forward, right? Because the thrust is fixed now. The thrust is at climb thrust. It's not moving anywhere.
Correct.
So the only way for me to control my speed is to do what? Pitch down.
Yeah.
It's the only way. So I pitch down, right? This is what I was drawing over here, 10 degrees. You begin accelerating, and then we begin the flap retraction.
I got it now.
Okay, flaps up, no lights, after takeoff checklist.
That's around 210.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the retraction for a second. The flap retraction, right? So you're in the classic. Okay, so they have analog, and they also have the speed tape, right? Because it's partial EFIS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're climbing at, let's say you're climbing at about 150-ish, and you took off with flaps 5. As you begin accelerating forward, okay, your speed here, okay, once you get to about 170 with a positive trend, okay, you're going to go from flaps 5 to flaps 1, right? Then once you get to 190 with a positive trend, always with a positive trend, what does that mean?
You have the arrow on the speed table.
Yeah, you're speeding up,
Yeah.
right? Because if I'm slowing down, the last thing I want to do if I'm slowing down is make the wing smaller.
Yeah.
I need a bigger wing to fly slower, right? So I don't want to retract the flaps. I have to be accelerating. So if I'm accelerating, okay, 190 with a positive trend, then we go flaps up. So from here, you were flaps 5, and from 5 you called for flaps 1. Now we're at flaps 1, and from flaps 1 we called for up. And you end up clean at speed
210. It's now up to you to accelerate or to hold it there.
Yeah. Now you set 250, or you can go VNAV, and VNAV will accelerate you, below 10,000. Right?
Okay.
Right? Make sense?
Mix. It entered.
It's in.
Yes. Pushed in.
All right, man. Good, brother. I promise you, man. This is just, it's not. The hat won't do anything for you, right? It's kind of, you just have to go through it. Okay, good. So that's the takeoff profile. The call outs you want are these right here. 400 feet, you're familiar with because that was that's your background. 1,000 feet, N1,
210.
210. Or I think if they have you say bug up, it's the same thing, right? Bug up, 210. N1 bug up, N1 210. Okay, either one. And then we do the flap retraction. Beautiful. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
This is the normal one for the takeoff, 2 engines,
Yeah,
and the approach 2 engines.
yes,
Now the single engine.
okay. Now the single engine. You're talking about the V1 cut, right?
Yes.
Right, and then,
Not the V1 car.
The go around.
The V1, the single engine go around and single in approach.
yeah, okay, we'll look at that. Let's look for a second at the go-around, and then I'll bring you back to that, because right now, let's assume we're still normal 2 engines. So, we did the takeoff profile,
Yeah.
right here. Now we're doing the go-around profile. All right, so you're on the approach, and you end up having to go around for whatever reason. Your call out is going to be go around
Okay, with 2 engines.
with 2 engines.
Correct.
Yeah, even with 1 engine, you're going to say go
Yeah.
around, right? But go around,
Mhm.
okay, set go around thrust, flaps 15.
Okay, wait. Go around, flaps 15.
Yep.
Positive rate, gear up.
Yep,
Okay?
yep,
Mhm. Positive rate.
normal takeoff, right? You're up. It's the same thing.
Mhm.
You write sideways like that?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how I get it.
And you write straight,
Yes,
but you're writing sideways.
yes. Even if there's no line, I'll write.
Huh? Get out of town, man. What else can you do? Huh? Holy crap.
And I
Can you
know-
write left? And you're left-handed.
Yes.
Huh? You're writing left-handed sideways.
Yes.
Huh? What? Get out of here, man. Can you spin this eraser around on your finger or something? Okay, all right. I don't know, you're full of tricks here. Okay, so look. Go around flaps 15. That's assuming your flaps 30, right? 2 engines. So you're gonna go around with flaps 15. Go around flaps 15.
Mhm.
Positive rate gear up.
Mhm.
400 feet. What do you think you're gonna say?
N1 or?
No, not in one.
LNAV or
Okay.
head-in select?
Okay, LNAV or heading. Which one? If you're following the published,
Missed. If published missed is LNAV.
right?
If I'm going extended center line, it's head-in select.
Or any heading they give you.
Yeah.
If they give you a heading, go to heading, right? Okay, good. Now,
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. How
This
about that?
This is where I had problem with him today.
Yeah. This is where everybody has problems. This isn't where you have problems. This is where every 737 pilot
Wow.
has problems.
Okay.
2 engine go around.
Okay.
Because the reason they have issue is because they're not quite understanding the thrust, needed thrust modes for the different phases of flight. Okay, so watch. Let's go back to the takeoff for a second. Takeoff thrust, takeoff thrust, takeoff thrust, all throughout, right?
Yeah.
Takeoff thrust, takeoff thrust, takeoff thrust. What is takeoff thrust approximately in N1? 98%, 99%?
Thereabouts.
Okay, so let's say it's 99%, right? You get to 1,000 feet and we push N1, which we said N1 really wants to do what? Give us climb thrust.
Yes.
So up to this point, we're riding with 99%. Then over here, we go to climb thrust. And climb thrust is gonna give us,
210.
well, we're gonna accelerate to 210, but from a thrust standpoint, it's gonna be a reduction, right? So 99 is gonna go down to say, you know, whatever.
97, 96.
Yeah, let's say 95, okay? So now I'm at 95%. So I have a lot of thrust, and then I have lesser thrust,
Yeah.
okay? The go-around thrust setting is less than the climb thrust setting,
Okay.
okay? So to give it a number, you know, let's just say it's maybe 90%, okay? These are all ballpark, arbitrary numbers, right? Well, let's say it's 90%, right? So when I get to 1,000 feet, where am I reducing thrust to? Nowhere. It's already reduced.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So this is what causes confusion because people, you know, we take off a lot,
But we don't do.
but we don't go around a lot, which means our takeoff and climb out phases are all the time. We do these all the time. We always have takeoff thrust, we always have climb thrust. And the profile is very similar here. Obviously, it's almost paralleling, right? But the difference is the thrust setting is different. This is a go-around thrust setting, which doesn't require a thrust reduction here, right? So when you get to 1,000 feet, the only thing you're going to call for is flaps 5. From flaps 15, which was back here, we go to flaps 5.
Okay.
So on a go around, 1,000, all you say is,
Flaps 5.
that's it. And you see what happens now when you say flaps 5 is that the airplane realizes, well, it realized from the time you hit toga in airborne, right, weight off wheels, toga, I'm in the go around mode. It knows. Okay, when you begin the flap retraction, what you will notice is the speed will begin to increase, accelerate by itself. Over here, you had to set speed to 10.
Yeah. But over there,
But here, the flap retraction will begin accelerating you automatically.
I understand. Okay.
Make sense?
Makes. So the difference between this and this now is at 1,000 flaps 5,
Yeah.
while this one at 1,000 N1 bug up 210.
Yep. And why are you, what does N1 do when you push N1? What is it really doing?
Climb thrust.
Climb thrust. And when you set speed to 10,
Accelerating.
the flight director bar comes down and I'm accelerating,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So here, how come I don't have to push N1?
Because it's already sensed that he's in flight. He's a go around.
Because it's a go around. And the acceleration happens not when you set 210. We don't set 210. The acceleration happens when we do
But
what?
the speed, the speed window will
Mhm.
be blank.
Yes. This is what throws everybody off. They try to set speed 210 and then they realize there's nothing to set.
Yes.
There's nothing
The
here.
same thing happened today.
Of course it did. It didn't happen to you, it happened to everybody.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
This is
Good.
what happens.
I'm confident now. Yeah.
Good. You gotta know what it's doing.
Yeah.
If you look up there and say, oh man, you know, the window's blank.
That reminds me that flaps retraction.
If you look up there and see nothing, say flaps 5,
Okay.
right? When you go into the sim next time, you're gonna look up in the window
Yes.
and you're gonna see nothing, right? And what are you gonna say?
Flaps 5. What about the single engine? The same?
Okay.
It will be the same.
It's different. We're gonna look
Oh,
at it.
is it
now.
different?
It's a little bit different. Okay, but we're gonna look at it, but in a second, hang on. Okay, so flaps 5, you're gonna begin accelerating,
Yeah.
and then the next thing you're gonna do is say flaps 1.
Yes.
And then eventually you're gonna say flaps up.
Yeah. And by then the speed will have reached 210 automatically.
Yes. It is possible for that window to repopulate with the speed. When? When you get altitude acquired.
It happened today.
Okay.
I need to capture that speed that you have at that time.
See?
Yeah.
Okay. When do you get altitude acquired?
When you have okay, yeah.
Altitude acquired, the MCP speed window opens, right? It opens. So now the question is, okay, Joe, if altitude acquire opens the speed window, when do I get altitude acquire? Well, what is altitude acquire?
The 3,000 you set on the missed approach.
Okay.
altitude.
Let's break this down for a second. Altitude acquire
Mhm.
means that we are, let's reverse it, acquiring.
The altitude.
That's it, right? I'm acquiring an altitude.
Yeah.
That means I'm reaching it.
Yes.
So what we don't want to do is get to 3,000 feet and then stop. Because what happens if you're in your citation and you get to 3,000 feet and then you're like, oh, there's 3,000 feet, and you push. What do you feel in the airplane?
Bad.
It doesn't feel good, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to feel negative G's.
Yes.
That means you're going to be flying up like this.
Yes.
Now you fly for the police, right?
Yes.
Okay, next thing you know, you got police sergeants back there hanging on the roof.
Yes.
They're going to say, I'm going to take you to jail, man. Huh? You can put me on the roof, brother. Okay, so what we don't want is negative G's. So what does that mean for altitude acquired? Since altitude acquired doesn't want negative G's, it's trying to do everything at 1G.
Yeah.
1G is what you're feeling right now. How you feel right now?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, man, you're feeling good, brother. That's because you got 1G right now.
And I want to have 1G for my check ride.
Yeah, we don't want any G's, man. Okay, so altitude acquired goes in when it's the appropriate time, right, to begin leveling off to maintain 1G.
It will now come altitude hold.
And then altitude hold comes in. Now remember, how do I maintain 1G? Well, it depends how quickly I'm climbing. If I'm climbing 2,000 feet a minute versus climbing 200 feet a minute,
By 1,000 it will start
Right, right. It depends.
Yeah.
How fast am I climbing? How aggressive? So the airplane knows, okay, based on inertia and rate of climb, this is where I need to begin acquiring to maintain that smooth 1G level off, right? Now, so what altitude acquire should mean to you is 1G path to level off. Make sense? Altitude acquire equals 1G level off path. What does altitude acquire equal?
1G equal flight path.
Yeah, 1G level off path. Okay, so now here we are at 3,000 feet, and when you got altitude acquire, the window reopened at
Altitude captured, or to hold.
at a speed. Let me be more specific. When you got altitude acquire, the speed in the MCP speed window that is here is whatever speed you have.
Correct.
So if you had flaps 1, speed 190, and then altitude acquire comes in and the window opens,
190.
there you go. It's a big loop.
So the best thing to get it, yeah.
Right. So now the thing to realize is, let's say your go-around altitude is not 3,000. Let's say it's 2,000. It's lower. You get to 1,000 feet, and you say flaps 5. Then all of a sudden, right here, altitude acquired. Okay. The speed window reopens at what speed?
210. At whatever speed it is.
Ah, which is probably around the flap 5 speed.
150.
Okay.
Or 160.
Yeah, 170.
Yeah.
Okay, 170. So now you have to be mindful of roll the speed up. So on a go around, altitude acquire should mean for you, check the speed. Because now it's open again. It's not controlling anything automatically, right?
This is all with 2 engines.
This is all with 2 engines. Okay? This is a lot of lines on the board.
This is a good one.
Does this make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now let me ask you, brother, what flight academy would give you this training and buy you lunch and pick you up?
One step prep.
Come on, man. Red carpet service, baby. You see? We're gonna have some fun with this.
Yes.
Okay?
One
It's
step
serious
prep.
stuff, but it's you know, but it's if it's enjoyable, right?
One step
It's
prep.
gonna go in. Okay, so single engine. Let's do single engine and then we'll take a break.
Good.
Yeah?
Go ahead.